Welcome to the Whisky Business Podcast, where we dive into the rich and fascinating world of whisky and the equally complex landscape of business. I'm your host, Ash Playstead, here to guide you through conversations that blend the culture and enjoyment of great whisky with the craft of building lasting business success. Each episode will be an exploration of the subtle connections between the smooth complexities of a fine dram and the strategic decisions that shape thriving enterprises. So pour yourself a glass, settle in, and join us as we discover how passion and precision make all the difference in both whisky and business. Hello everyone, whisky lovers and business lovers everywhere. Ash Playstead here, your host of the Whisky Business Show. I think this will be episode 3, depending on what order these end up getting out there. Anyway, today I've got a really interesting whisky to talk about and some really also interesting and important crossovers into the world of business and particularly mortgage broking. So first things first, let's dive into the bit that, let's be honest, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking just for myself, but that we love the most, which is good single malt Scottish whiskies. Today we're going to visit a fantastic farm distillery on the island of Islay. I've spoken about Islay before. It's really the home of peaty whiskies off the south west coast of Scotland. And this is a distillery I visited personally as well on my trip there earlier in the year and picked up a couple of fabulous whiskies. Now, I'll just reach back up here and grab this one that I want to talk about. So, this expression from Kilchoman, the pronunciation Kilchoman, which is, as it says, Islay's farm distillery. So this single malt Scotch whisky batch strength. So that batch strength means it's straight from the batch to the bottle, 57% ABV. This is a very strong, impactful whisky that will really hit you front on. So without any further ado, I'm going to refer to the notes on this whisky and run through them for you and then talk a little bit more about its provenance. So this is described as a colossal beast brimming with peat. And this is Kilchoman's first ever batch strength release. Kilchoman is a distillery that was destroyed by fire a while back, quite a few years back, and it's taken a long time to rebuild. And as you would know, with the whisky process, the provenance of whisky is getting it through the aging process. It takes many years. So it takes quite a while from idea to the whisky being on the market. And this is actually brought exclusively into Australia by an organisation called the Whisky Club, which I'm a part of. So this description of this particular whisky comes from the Whisky Club. So just to tell you a little bit about this distillery, as I said, it's famous as Islay, which is an island's farm distillery. So this is what you would call paddock to bottle. Maybe you would call that paddock to plate. So that's when the entire ecosystem, the entire process from the growing of the barley, the planting, growing and harvesting of the barley from which malt is made, right through to the end result, which is the bottle of whisky that you see in front of you and many others. There's very few distilleries. In fact, I think Kilchoman is one of only 2 in all of Scotland that 100% is paddock bottle. It's actually nearly 100 years old, the distillery, and has already won, this particular bottle has won the best Islay single malt at the Ultimate Whisky Challenge. So let's have a little bit of a talk about it, okay? This whisky from this particular distillery, they've really gone the extra mile with this one. So this is a combination of recharred red wine casks, which are married with Oloroso sherry butts and ex-bourbon barrels. And at 57% ABV, it really is a giant, a beast of a dram, which has a really raw intensity that I love. But most importantly, the power is balanced by a delicacy and finesse that speaks for the quality of the production at Kilchoman. The processes in the still house and all the quality of the cask used for the maturation are absolutely top notch. So this is from Anthony Wills, who is the head distiller. So just to give you a little bit of the palette of this whiskey, its colour is described as gold with a pink hue. Its nose, it's got red fruits, fresh cherries, heather blossom, and intense peat smoke. Its palate is toffee, rich spices, vanilla, and a lasting peat smoke. And its finish, described as silky viscosity. Don't you love that silky viscosity with fresh crumpets, butter, and honey? I just love the way whiskies are described. Absolutely fabulous. So this is a fabulous whiskey. So the description is from the Whisky Club, where I sometimes get my whiskies. This particular one I picked up at the distillery, but the Whisky Club is a fantastic organisation that get exclusive access to a lot of great whiskies. So I want to go back to the connection between this whiskey, and particularly more the distillery it came from, and business, and specifically the mortgage broking industry. So where do we start? Okay, so the term farm to bottle. In the mortgage industry, we could call that lead to settlement. Okay, we'll talk about this a lot in coaching, in discussions, in advice, with working with a lot of broker business owners over the years, is understanding the full ecosystem of what a mortgage business is and how much of that do you do yourself, how much of it do you outsource, etc., etc. So I would say that whilst it is terrific to be able to lay claim to a farm to bottle distillery, it can also come with a lot of traps. It's not easy. Hence, most distilleries don't do it this way. It's actually cheaper, more profitable, more efficient to outsource parts of your process to third-party experts. This could be people who grow the peat, people who turn the barley, people who grow the barley, people who turn barley into malt. That's a huge industry in Scotland, is turning barley into malt and then selling it to whisky distilleries. The actual production inside the distillery is all done in-house, of course. And then at the end of that, you've got what I would call the marketing and distribution. So a beautiful whiskey such as this from a fantastic boutique farm to paddock distillery would never see the light of day if you didn't have a great marketing and distribution strategy to get your product in front of your ideal consumers. Now, for me, whilst I discovered this distillery in person when I was visiting, part of their strategy to distribute this product into Australia was to form a partnership with, as I said, the Whisky Club, because the Whisky Club has hundreds of thousands of members worldwide, let alone just in Australia. In fact, I think there might even be millions of subscribers. So they have incredible eyeballs on their database that they can go to a distiller and say, if you give us exclusive access at a maybe more closer to wholesale price instead of retail price, we can guarantee you a level of distribution and sales. So how would you relate this to a mortgage business? So what I would say to anybody listening to this is, it's one thing to understand the full life cycle of lead gen, talking to the lead gen, converting the lead gen, converting it into a strategy session, a submission, pre-approval and a full approval, then hand-holding it through to settlement, and then nurturing your database post-settlement. All of those things are super important, and I'll talk about those in various episodes to come. But what I wanted to touch on today was, it's no good having the best process and system from cradle to the grave, from lead to settlement, from paddock to bottle, if no one knows about it. Okay? As someone famously once said, it's no point having the best hotel in the world if it's in the middle of the desert and no one knows about it. So this is about partnerships, distribution, lead generation, strategies to get your great process, your excellent customer service, your efficiency, whether you use AI, technology, automation, real people, a combination of all of these things to generate speed and momentum to take your clients through a really great experience quickly. That's all fabulous, but you've still got to have a ready supply of customers coming in at the front end. And that doesn't come from just being good at what you do. That comes from intentionally going out to the marketplace and working out who your ideal clients are, where they are, and enticing them, whether it's through marketing, social media, paid advertising, joint ventures. And I think that's one of the best way to generate momentum is joint ventures, whether it's with aligned industries such as real estate, accounting, financial planning, building, wealth creation, and a myriad of others where there is a lot of opportunity. In fact, I know of many brokers that align themselves with joint venture approaches to particular industries, the medical industry, the engineering industry, the nursing industry, the emergency services industry, charities. There are so many ways to create partnerships that add a lot of value to the partner, but also create an ongoing flow of people to your business. So the message here is, yes, it's very important to build your paddock to bottle or your lead to settlement process. And whether you in-house all of that, outsource some of it, these are things that, with my coaching and advice with Recludo, we spend a lot of time on building productive efficiency so that you get bang for buck from your resource allocation into your business so that you can then scale the business. And scaling comes through more customers. So you must have a strategy to generate more customers, no matter how good your lead to settlement process is. So there's the connection. Kilchoman, a fabulous whiskey from a fabulous distillery. This particular batch strength, never been done before, 57% ABV. 1 dram of this will knock your socks off. So if you really, really want a hardcore, whiskey drinker's whiskey, this is the one. And it's got fantastic provenance from a fantastic family distillery who built themselves back up from the bits and pieces left over after a major traumatic event at their distillery, and have built themselves back up again and now back out in the marketplace, making fantastic whiskies, partnering with great organisations to get it in front of customers. Same with your business. Build great systems, build great processes, get great people, get great technology. Make sure that you're getting out and building pipelines, channels to bring in a regular supply of customers that you can scale up as you grow your business. So I hope you enjoyed this discussion about fine whiskey and good business. I'll see you on the next episode of the Whisky Business Show.